Hello, welcome to another rant video. Still in Perth, but I've got a fresh haircut, fresh beard trim, ready to roll. Today we're looking at Proverbs, which is a book in the Bible we don't often turn to. It's a book of sayings to help people be wise. Often throughout this book we see wisdom being personified as a woman. That means it's described as if it's a person. And that's exactly what's happening in our book today. In fact, today's chapter, we're looking at chapter 9, is the end of the introduction to the book of Proverbs. So after chapter... Great. So what is wisdom? Well, verse 10 tells us, wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. That's what the whole book of Proverbs is helping us do. It's trying to help us fear the Lord in a right way and to give us a deeper knowledge of who he is. So in our chapter today, we have three big sections. Verses 1 to 6 is the call of wisdom. It's wisdom calling out to people to come into our home. Then verses 7 to 12 is kind of a middle section we'll come to in a little bit. And then finally we've got 13 to 18, which is the call of folly. It's foolishness calling out. That's what folly means, is foolishness, is calling out to try and get people into her home. So wisdom's call is... It seems pretty great when you look at it. What's happening is, she's got a great meal prepared. She's got so much space, and she's calling everybody. She's gone out to get everyone into her home because wisdom wants as many people in to have as much as they can, eat her foods, drink the wine she's made. It's a good call is what wisdom is doing. And what does that lead to? Well, verse 5 and 6, leave your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the way of insight. Go to wisdom and you get life. But if we look at folly's calls, we're looking at the last few verses. What do we see? Well, she's unruly. She's just shouting at those who are passing by. She's calling out. She's calling out to those who have no sense. She wants all the dumb people to come in. And she's sitting at the door of her house. She's not gone out to call. She's doing what she doesn't. She's lazy. She's lazy and unruly in making this call. And she's giving really bad advice as well. Whereas wisdom was giving out the food and the wine she's got, folly seems to be saying, stolen water is the good stuff. Food eaten in secret is delicious. She's giving that idea of the things the sins you do in secret, that's the good stuff. That's what you want, because it feels good when you do that without people realizing. But sadly, what folly's calling leads to death. That's what verse 18 says. Little do they know, they being the people she's calling to, that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. Anyone who enters folly's house is walking into the dead. They're finding death. That's all that's going to meet them there. There's not really a choice, really. When you look at those things, you have wisdom calling out, saying, come to me and you'll have life and wisdom. And you have folly calling out, saying, come to me and you will die. There's no choice in the matter there. That is not you don't get to think about it and go, it's quite a tough choice, isn't it? No. We all want wisdom. We all want life. But how do we get there? What makes us wise? Well, I think that's what our middle section is there for. It's there to help us figure out what it looks like to be wise. It gives us three sentences of what the foolish do, and then it gives us 3 sentences of what the wise do. If you try and correct a mocker, you're going to get insulted. If you rebuke the wicked, you'll be abused. They're going to hate you. So if you're not wise, if you're a mocker or the wicked, you're not going to respond well to instructions. You're not going to listen to what people are saying to help you out. No, you're going to hate them and abuse them and kick them out of your house. But in the second half of verse 8 and verse 9, we see what the wise do. The wise love those who rebuke them. They listen to instructions because that helps them gain wisdom. And they try and add to their learning by being taught as much as they can. So the foolish ignore instruction. The wise listen to it. They are willing to be taught. Verse 12 says, if you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. The wiser you are, the more you're going to listen to other people. But the second half of verse 12, if you're a mocker, you alone will suffer. If you don't listen to what people are telling you, you're going to push them away and you'll be alone and you're going to continue to be foolish and it'll lead straight to death. In order to be more wise, we have to listen to those who are telling us things. We have to try and learn as much as we can. We have to study and be willing to be taught. What that looks like for us today as Christians is that we have to look to God. We want to learn more about Him. So we have to listen to those who are willing to teach us. We have to be willing to study. And if people tell us we're doing the wrong thing, we have to be willing to be rebuked. None of us are perfect. But the wise person will grow in holiness because they're listening when they're being told they're sinning. None of us are perfect. Only foolish people think that. And the foolish people who think that look for the easy out, and they go to folly's house and find death. Let me close in prayer. Father, thank you that you help us become more wise. You show yourself to us, and the more we understand of you, the wiser we will become. The more we want to be like you, the wiser we will become, Father. I ask that you'd give us people who will teach us and rebuke us and give us instruction that we might become even wiser, and that throughout the rest of our lives we'd look to be making the right decisions for you, Father. Help us avoid the easy sin that comes from being foolish. Help us identify what is bad and avoid it and run from it, flee from it. Father, I pray that we would all answer wisdom's call today and live our lives for you. In your holy name, amen. That's a wrap.